Hello, hello. Okay. So, I know I'm live. I know what's happening. I've figured that part out now. It's just waiting now for the everything else to catch up. Finally live. Finally got live. I know my timing is just atrocious. But that's why I don't say what time, because I know that whatever time I say, it's just not going to happen, which is probably good anyway, because I don't want to be held accountable to a specific time. It feels too much like work meetings, and work meetings suck. So, hi, Tarot Gothess. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I just realized I forgot to tell people in the Discord. Okay, let me go tell the koalaholics. Um, if you have any numbers or anything, um, let me know. And, um, oh, somebody got it. I think, oh, good. Thank you, Inara. I just saw that you got it in the Discord for me because I forgot. Oops. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Anybody got numbers, topics, lyrics, phrases, anything that they want to talk about? I have some stuff that's coming up that we can definitely talk about, and we always seem to find something to talk about. Um, but I always like to make sure that I'm covering any of your numbers and dates that you want to go over. This is true. They're on their way now. I'm sure. um. Okay. Well, while you all think about if there's numbers or dates or something that you want to discuss, um, I'm gonna pull this up again because now my images are working. Yes, maybe. I guess. So, I wanted to just bring awareness to this. Hi, Nara. Thank you so much for posting in the Discord because I totally forgot. And then when I went in there, you had already done it. The astrological chart for today. This is today's chart. And I don't know about you all, but this week, I thought September 1st hit and life went kind of crazy and it felt kind of nuts. And then this week started. We hit that eclipse on Sunday, and then we rolled into this week, and it was woo. This week was crazy. But I think has something to do with it. So I'm gonna, as people are kind of coming in, remind everybody that I do not mind if you put in your birth dates or your numbers or questions or anything that you have. Please put it into the chat. And I am totally fine shifting gears and coming back to subjects and all that good stuff. But this is today's astrological chart. And what we're seeing here is that we kind of have this mirror that is being put up. And that's actually a topic that has come up very much, like this vibration of the mirror and reflection and what that actually means and what's actually happening with that. And then we see in the astrology that we have this mirror image happening. And what is making this even more significant is that we, on this side, so on this side of the chart, these are all long-term planets that are creating this aspect. So this aspect is going to last for years. And on this other side, need another color, we have all of these personal planets that are only in these positions really days. So today is really the one day where all of these aspects are super strong. And so then that is making it where this whole week has kind of led up to this happening. To all the events, every vibration that we've seen this week has kind of led up to this perfect aspect. And even more interesting, I think, stop me if it's not, if this is boring, let me know, is that the planets that are involved here, so the ones that'll last for years, it's Pluto in Aquarius, it's Neptune here in Aries, and it's Uranus, or if you want a good giggles, you say Uranus. Hi, Jush. Hi, Cousin B. Thanks for coming. Let me know what numbers you want me to look at. We could switch. We don't have to stay on this. You want me to look at your birthdays or your names or lyrics or events or anything that you saw this week? Let me know. But this is the astrological chart for today. And so these planets, these outer planets, this is like transformation. So Pluto is like transformation for years. This is like lessons of transformation and change that are just getting started because this is at 1 degree. It just moved in here. And so we're just starting with this aspect. And this is transformation. So it's the transformation that'll be happening for years. And it's in Aquarius, which is, this is the sign of the people. It's like all for the people. Hi, Tiff Tiff. Thanks for coming in. Let me know if you got any numbers, anything from anybody else you want me to guess, because that was fun. So we have years-long transformation happening in this space of for the people, and then we have Neptune, which is actually, it's the planet of dreams. Hi, Nikki. Thank you for being here. It makes me so happy when you all come in. I get all excited. But then I want to be in the chat with you instead of like actually talking about what I'm supposed to be talking about. But if you have anything you want to talk about, any numbers, any names, any events, anything, we can certainly switch. So we have Pluto up here that's making like a years long transformation around the areas of for the people. So it's like bringing transformation. It's like opening people's eyes to see how things are impacting people as a whole. But at the same time, we have this Neptune here that's dream world, and it's in Aries, which is the I am, which is the individual. And so this is like shifting the dreaming, like changing the dreaming. And lastly, we have Uranus here, which is technology and innovation, but also revolution. Oh, good. I see your birthday. Fun. And we have that here. So, this is the astrological chart for today. So, what we're seeing is that what's happening in our this last couple days, like this week, in these days, it's been mirroring what we will potentially be seeing over years. I don't think it's going to be as chaotic as it has been. I hope not. But these same kind of themes that we've been seeing this week, it's mirroring, it's showing us a reflection of what's to come over the next few years. Okay. Oh. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so let me know when you can hear me, and then I will switch. So then I I it's weird to like say that. Like, tell me, I'm saying out loud, tell me when you can hear me. I'm sure everybody else will translate. Thank you very much, everybody else. Let me know when you can hear me, and then I will switch over and do Nikki's reading. Um, okay, good. Okay, perfect. Great. So we're gonna push this over. We'll talk about that. I think I'm gonna do a bigger video on mirrors and reflections, because there's actually a lot coming out about that, and it's pretty interesting. All right, so let's see. Let's do. I'm trying to decide if I should do your. Why are you nervous? Don't be nervous. I think I'm gonna start with your name first. So the most. Hi, Josh. The most powerful vibrations that we use to connect with the world around us and to project out our vibration. So we send out our vibration, it interacts and it weaves with other people's vibrations and with vibrations in the world around us. And those vibrations are our name, and that's the name that we regularly use. So it's the name that we use on a regular basis. It's what we call ourselves and what others do. Um, well, let's look at both. We can look at both names. Because I know, like in the online space, people usually call you Nikki. And do people around you, like your family and stuff, use your government name? It sounds weird to say it out loud, even though it's not that different. um, because then that could tell you how the vibration changes in those two spaces. But if Nikki is what you use in like this online digital space, then let's look at it, because it could tell you a lot about how your vibration is interacting with the vibrations that you're getting here. Oh yeah, then we're not gonna use that government name at all. We just gonna use this. If this is what everybody calls you, then Nikki it is. Yeah, I went through that phase with Elizabeth, but I actually hated Elizabeth so much that I used all the possible nicknames when I was younger, and so then when I was older, I didn't have any other nicknames to use because they all felt like somebody was like calling me a nickname that was for a young person. And well, I'm not old, but I'm certainly not as young as I used to be. Anyway, moving on. So let's see. So what we're gonna do, so it's your name and your life path number, which comes from your birthday, are those two most powerful vibrations. I usually concentrate on the first name because people don't regularly say your whole name to you all the time. Um, but because you use the full name for YouTube, we're going to look at both of those because it definitely will change the vibration. All right, so let's see. So for Nikki, this is going to be 14. I'm putting the numbers here so we can all start trying to learn how to do this on our own. You know, I love learning. I want you all to learn too. Hi, baby love. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So, when we add that up, yeah, I felt that. Your first name adds up to 38, which is a very powerful number, especially right now, because it's adding up to an 11 that then adds up to 2. And the 11s are extremely powerful right now. And it's because we have so many events and so many vibrations in the space that are very polarizing. But also, 38 is the numerical vibration of balance. So when people say your name, they could feel a sense of balance. But it also is the numeric vibration of the word change. So they could feel like this is like you in your name are exuding this this feeling of change, of like really promoting change and pushing for change to happen. Now, every vibration, even those that come from us, are neutral, but it's based on the other person, the person that's receiving those vibrations, what their perspective is. So if they have other experiences with you that they may feel like this change is you trying to change them. And they may take it in a negative way, but that's not about you. That's not the vibration that you're putting out. It's the perspective that you're in. But that also means that you have to be careful not to do that. You have to be careful not to try and change people. Because it'll come across very strongly. Like extremely strongly because of your name. Just your first name even alone. So that's very interesting. Okay. So then let's look at this last name. Yeah, I can see that where it's probably you probably challenge people to change for the better, or you make them feel like they have to change for the better. And if they're not ready for that, then they won't stick around. But when you find people, and hopefully you found some people now that are on that same path where they also are pushing for the same kind of change that you are. And so then now it's a different kind of camaraderie because you don't have to change them or try and help push them to change. You get to just let them be who they are. And then that comes to this place of balance where you get to be your authentic self and they get to be their authentic self. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is just the first name, baby. Oh, goodness. We on point, huh? So let's see for Lewis. So when we get this last name, now it's 12 plus 5 plus 23 plus 9 plus 19. And I always like recognize and feel like I need to point out when anybody has a W in their name that this 23 is the numerical vibration of the phrase I am. And so when you have this W in your name, it's a little bit different when you have it as your last name because your last name isn't used as much. But like for you, where you are using your last name in like your YouTube online persona, now that sense of I am, that identity, you have a very strong identity that comes through that W there. But let's add these up. Interesting. So for I don't want this weird mustard color. I like mustard. Let's use. So then for your last name, you have 68. So the first thing that I'm sure most of us noticed is that you have the 8 both places here. So now the 8 is that reap what you sow energy. It's the cycling energy that's coming back around. Some people call it like karmic energy. And so the energy that you're putting out into the world just with your name is like, okay, you can come this way, but you're going to get exactly what you put in. And that's the same thing that you say is like, what I put out into the world, I know it's going to come back. So I'm very intentional about what I put out and how it comes back. And so having those 8s there for both of that is really going to exude that whether you're using that last name and the first name together or it's just your first name, that first step in both of these is this 8. And that's really important to recognize. So then we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and add these together. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this is showing us is that and you just have to recognize that when you're around people, not only do you have this really pushing for change, pushing for transformation, but you are just the vibration alone, you're making people have to look at their past. So anybody that is not ready to do that is not gonna want, oh, I almost said a cuss word. They're not gonna want to be around you. I'll say it the nice way. They're not gonna want to be around you because they're not ready to look at themselves. So they're not ready to look at the energy that is coming back on them. They're not ready to look at their own past. They're not ready to change and grow and achieve their own place of balance in that transformation. And so hopefully you've come to a place in life, or you'll get there soon, where you can find peace with that. That it's them and it's not you. Oh, I wasn't worried about you. I was worried about YouTube. I actually have a potty mouth. I have a terrible potty mouth, and I try very hard when I'm on YouTube to quench the potty mouth. It only took like one article. I read this article about how the smarter people were, the more they cussed. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm brilliant. I'm gonna cuss all the time. And then it was just downhill from there. Yeah. Okay. So let's add these together. So 38 and 68 together is 106. And this, when we add this together, we get to 7. So the energy that you are putting out just with your name, and this is not just the energy that you're like exuding or like sending out into the world. This is actually how you connect with others. So being true to this vibration. You know how, like, I know we all know where you come across somebody and you're like, the way their energy feels doesn't match like the behavior or the person that they're representing or like that they're putting forth. Oh, that makes so much sense. Yep, the Navy will do it. Uh-huh. Um, but so when you are in your most authentic self, these are the vibrations that you are using to be able to connect and work and be in vibrational flow with other people and with the world around you. So with events and with uh, cultures or groups of people or organizations, these are the vibrations you're using. And so understanding them yourself really well will help you to be able to navigate those flows. Yes, that is a very good analogy, Josh. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yep. And you want to see something scary? I love when this happens. Synchronicity is the bomb. I love it. I love numerology. I love it all. So, Josh, you gave the example of fire. And so fire is 6 plus 9 plus 18 plus 5. And that equals 38. I love it. I love it. So that's why it is the perfect example. That's why that example comes to your mind. Well, also, Nikki, when we think about, and I don't remember when it was. Maybe somebody else that has been in here knows, but we had like this whole conversation about how um, we can no longer just look at our sun sign. So all of the horoscopes and our zodiac signs, we've only been looking at our sun signs, and those don't necessarily fit very well anymore. Well, they haven't for a while. That's why our horoscopes haven't been very good for a while. But what we have to start looking at is our sun, our moon, and our rising or our ascendant sign. So it would be interesting for you, Nikki, to be able to see out of those three how many are fire. We know one is fire with Aries. That sun is fire with Aries. But I'm guessing with that balance that you have there, that you have something else in that moon and that rising that are actually balancing out that fire. Yeah, balanced volcano. That's the best. That is great. So, okay, so back to like this 106. So when we get to this final number, what we have to look at, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're very balanced. Cuz that's so Aries is fire, then Taurus is earth, so that grounds it, that brings it all in. And then that Scorpio is the deepest set of water that you can have. And so you're very balanced. Which one of those is your rising? Because your rising usually balances between your sun and your moon, where your sun is really how you think. It's your mind space. Your moon is your heart, and your emotional space, and then your rising is the first thing people see out into the world, and that helps balance between the heart and the head. Okay, so if Scorpio is your ascendant, yeah, then basically what that's saying is that, like, while your mind is really focused on that Aries fire of I am, and how can I be in this world and contributing to this world. Hi, Susie. Thanks for coming. Then your heart with the Taurus is one of the more emotional based spaces, but your heart is really about what you value and being it's really important. So, and you're very passionate. Your emotions are focused on being passionate about what you value, and it's a lot of the tangible. That's the Taurus. So it's not just the value as in morals, but the valuables, the actual physical valuables. And then that's balanced between that fire, and that earth gets some balance with that Scorpio water. Because now that's bringing back the emotion. But a lot of times, probably people think that you are a Scorpio. Because what our rising sign is usually the first thing we present to the world. Because we usually hide our mind and we hide our heart. And we hide behind what that rising is. That's so interesting. Okay, this is so much fun. All right, okay. So, at this 106, these are the steps. Of course you do. Okay, I'm gonna try not to look at the chat because I just keep getting so much good stuff. But these are the steps that you have to take to fully exude your most authentic self that your name represents. So the vibration of your name. And so this first step, we always go from right to left. So this is the first step. The first step is about comfort. Now, seeing what we've talked about already and what vibrations are going into this, you have to be very careful to create comfortable places for yourself and others, and not oh no, you're not interrupting. Not ever, Susie. I love it. Say hello and hi. I love seeing it. It's hard for me because I want to be in the chat with you. But it doesn't distract me. It's fine. So this 6 is all about comfort zones. Now, this energy can be used in multiple ways because all of these vibrations are neutral. So you can use this 6. The first step can be about creating comfortable places for people to be able to come in. And I think that needs to kind of be the focus just because of what these other vibrations are really doing. Like, you're really pushing for change. You're pushing for transformation. You're pushing for people to really look at their past. So before you can really do that fully, you need to create a very safe space for them. That's what this 6 is. It's a safe, comfortable space that feels like home. The challenge is to not challenge what they're comfortable with right now. And we've already talked about that. But that's the opposite side of this 6, is that you could, instead of creating and holding space that makes them feel comfortable, you could be challenging their comfort zones too soon. So you have to first make sure that you're creating a comfortable, safe space. And this is not like in spite of yourself or instead of yourself. It's a comfortable, safe space that's comfortable and safe for both of you or for all of you if it's a group. So that's this first step. When you do that, magic happens. Because when you are able to create this safe space for people, yeah, that impatience comes from the Scorpio and the Aries. Yeah, I could see that. That's okay. We all got stuff. But I think it's good because, like, that impatience also makes sure that, like, you don't take no crap. And, like, people aren't going to be able to get over on you for at all if for very long, if they even do. But if you can figure out how to create this safe, comfortable space for people, like meeting people at where they are with what they are currently comfortable with, then you are able to create magic because you have this zero in here, which is God energy. So by creating that safe space, it like creates a container. So now this God energy can come in and it can bless all of the new energy that you want to give to them. And then with this new energy in this very safe space, now you can take action together because you're in vibrational flow. So if things are like choppy with people, it may be because you're not spending enough time creating this comfort. It doesn't mean you gotta like accept their bullshit. Oops, I cussed. That's not what it means at all. It means that you're accepting them as who they are authentically while being yourself authentically, so that there is room for the change and the balance and the growth to be able to happen. Because if somebody is like very comfortable in kindergarten, even though they should be in first grade, you can't come in and be like, I'm in fifth grade, let's move all up here. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So that's just your name. We haven't even gotten to your birthday yet. Woo! But usually your name and your birthday actually very much go together. But let's see. Now I gotta scroll back up. I might need you to put go ahead and just put the birthday in there again, because I'm not gonna be able to find it. Trying to scroll through the chat. Does this all make sense? Okay, while you're giving me that birthday, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Uh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Well, then hopefully this helps to, if nothing else, open your eyes to like what's actually happening vibrationally. Because a lot of it is not things that you can change. Like, you can't change these vibrations. We have to learn how to use the vibration and use the energy for our greatest good. Okay, cool. So the first thing we do is we add up the year. So let me get a different color. Let me get like a softer color. I always feel weird about putting people's birthdays up on the screen and stuff, all in the recording. It's weird. But if y'all are okay, I'm okay. I go to some other numerologists lives, and man, people love putting their birthdays in there. So I'm just gonna get over it. Um, but let's add this up. So 1974. And I'm also learning that as I get older myself, I don't really care anymore. Like, who cares? Like, if you worried about it that much, that's your issue. So we have 21. So then we do 21 and we add your month and we add your date. And so what I always say when I'm doing this is the way that I do numerology is I don't reduce until the very end. So a lot of times in numerology, we will we're taught to reduce everything before you add them up, and that's great. But it only gets us our single digit life path number. It doesn't actually get us the path or the steps we need to take to actually reach that life path number as like a goal or an outcome. Good. Yeah. Like I'm glad I'm not the only one that has gotten to that point. So let's see. So 21 plus 3 plus 26. Ah, 50. Your life path number is 50, which then is reduced to 5. Now there's several of us um, in here that have this 0 in our path. And because I do too. I'm a 60 is my life path number. Um, but what we need to look at is this 50 because this is what gets us to that 5 at the end. And for those of us that have this 0 here, this is that God energy again. And well, what's interesting, I always like the side notes, but 50 is the numeric vibration of the word joy or the name joy. So if you have friends or family that are joy, you could either really get along with them or really not get along with them because it resonates the same as your life path number. But this 0, this God energy, a lot of times people like from my experience, what I've seen from my own experience is having the 0, and also with the other people that I have seen that have this 0 in there. We usually have a very tough early life. And it's because the first step on our life path is to accept God. It's to accept that we are not in control. Because 0 is the only vibration that we have no control over. So our first step in our life path is to accept that there are forces that are greater than us and we cannot control them, and we have to be able to figure out how to not just accept them. Um, because I've had those times in my life also where it's like, oh, I thought I just had to accept it, and then I go into victim mode. It's not that. It's like the acceptance while learning how to work with it. Like, how do we um, build our faith in the experiences that we have? How do we build our story into a lesson that we can give out to the world? And so this zero is extremely powerful here. Um, we have seen on some of our other, or on our Saturday Life. I don't know what I'm thinking, but one of the other people that we have looked at is Tupac is a 40. His life path number was 40, and so same kind of thing. That there's something about that zero um, that's different. It's different that you're having to encounter this God energy very early in life. But when you do that, then you get a immense level of this 5 energy, which is change. So right back to that 38 again. 5 is the energy of change. Your whole life path is to be able to bring change into the world. We already saw that change is that numerical vibration of 38, which is Nikki. Yes. 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 So you have experienced that zero in the same way. Like, it's been interesting for me because for so long, and especially as I'm learning and figuring out these vibrations and this numerology thing, not being able to come into acceptance, I think, is the best word for it. That zero really can, it really makes you powerful. There's something different about that being your first step. And everybody that I've encountered that has had that zero, and it doesn't matter what that second number is, but that zero in that first position is, and it probably feels very different because I've experienced it. But yeah, it's something different. So yeah, with this 5 life path number, it's very much about bringing change into the world. Not it's but it's bringing change into the world by changing within yourself, because you have the 5 twice. So on your path to reaching your goal to be able to present to the world what you have to give, um, you are having to change yourself. You're having to make a lot of work to be able to change yourself and how you are going into the world and the lessons that you're bringing to the world. But then you can bring change to the world. These 5 life path numbers, it's very similar to what we saw with your name. They make people uncomfortable because they're not ready to change. When you are encountering people and groups of people, so you have both of these vibrations, both your name and your life path number, that are exuding these vibrations of change. And so you just have to be aware of that. That, like, the right ones are going to be around you and are going to really relish in the transformation and change you're bringing to their lives. And those that aren't ready and may never be ready won't be there. And that's fine, because that's them, not you. That is, Whew, that's powerful. Let's look at one more thing. Let's take just your first name, so 38, plus your life path number. You see what's happening here? 88. Yeah, wow. I didn't know Nicole meant that. Protector of the people. That's amazing. But these vibrations, they don't lie, and like we come into this world carrying these vibrations and exuding it very for big reasons. So we have this 88, which is the same as these two eights we saw up here in your first and your last name. And 88 is like building this momentum around recognizing and like standing 10 toes down, chest out on you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow with me, you reap what you sow out in the world. This is like the message that you're bringing to the world with your vibration. But what has to be, you have to be careful with, always. There's always the be careful with your powerful energy, because 8 plus 8 is 16, which is the tower. You can topple people's worlds. So you have to be careful, because that energy too will come back on you. So be careful. Woo, this was cool. This was very, very good. Do you have any questions? Anything else? That was a good one. You got some pretty powerful vibrations there, lady. Go for it. Ask all your questions. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, don't ask here though. But you could ask me in Discord. You know, I'm in there. You could get a hold of me. Yeah, just ask me there. No problem. What else? Anybody else have any numbers that you've been seeing? Oh, good. I'm so glad that it resonates with you. I love this stuff. I really think that it's really important for us to understand our vibrations and how these vibrations work, because then we get to sit back and we get to be the observer, and our intentions are even more intentional as we go and we create our reality. You're very welcome. Mm, that is a good question. You know what? I think you know how. That's that's what I'm just gonna say, because that's what I'm feeling. I think seeing your energy and how powerful you are, whatever you have to bring back to me is exactly going to be right. I shared my gift, and now you share yours and we'll be good. Thank you so much for asking, though, Nikki. I really appreciate that. And I've noticed us koalaholics, we stick together because we're all pretty good at that. We're pretty good at being able to pour into each other and really make sure that we're reciprocating. I love that. Ah, yes. You're very right. You're very right. I am, and actually being on YouTube and um coming on live, this is my way of learning how to receive. So I will be open to receiving all of it, because I have been overwhelmingly surprised at the love that I have received, and it's actually been a lot of fun. Mm, yes, you're very right, Nikki. You're very right. But you are not alone. I am not alone. Us strong ones, we know how to be alone, but we don't know how to be together. So I'm learning it. Mm, thank you, Nikki. I really appreciate that, and I receive it, and I accept that. That's that God vibration. I'm glad that we were able to connect in that way. Thank you. Your words mean a lot to me, and I receive it. I receive it fully. Thank you. Uh, and if I get all tearied up, then I start cussing more. But that'll be okay too. Thank you, Nikki. I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna do, that the aura bathing, because I love that when you have a true vibrational connection and you get that feeling of your aura getting pumped up. That's when you sit. Just take it in. So that's what I'm gonna do. I did see Josh had something else. Josh, if you want to put that in again. Yes. I'll be right there next to you after this, Nikki. For sure. But please do, and this goes for everybody. You all know how to get a hold of me. Certainly ask your questions. Let's talk it over. Oh, Susie. I love happy tears. It's kind of nice getting to a point in life, especially when you've gone through so much stuff, where the majority of your tears are happy tears. Mm. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, you will very much be in all of our thoughts and prayers. And I'm hoping that you can feel that we're sending you all of these hug vibrations, these vibrations and energy of comfort. And you can hug me. I'm open. My vibration is open. So you just come on in for a hug. I got you. Good. I'm sending you so much healing and comfort. Um, yeah, you got this. You got this. That's a tough one, but we just saw in all of your vibrations, you are powerful and you got some changes to make in this world. So, love you so, so much. Big hugs. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. Whew. We're just going to let that energy, that love just bask. And we're going to start talking about. What are we going to talk about? Oh, shift. Yes. Yes. That word shift has been coming up a whole lot the last few months, but this week in particular. Yeah, let's talk about it. No, I think that's a good one. I think that's a good one, Josh. And anybody else, if you have numbers, if you have words, even if you need healing or anything. Because what I'm hearing right now is that um, I need to say out loud that each of us, regardless of the type of relationship we have with each other or with other people, we are each other's mirrors. And if we can reflect love and healing into each other, that's the biggest way that we can heal ourselves. A big problem that we've been having and what we have been seeing playing out is mirrors turning away from each other. So instead of facing each other and being able to reflect love and light and healing into each other so that we can reflect outward to heal the world, when you turn away from the mirror that's in front of you, if you refuse the healing and the love that they are sending to you through their reflection, or you're refusing to send them love and healing, you're turning away. And instead of reflecting, you are projecting. And projecting is sending out vibrations that cause a lot of chaos in the world. So, I don't know why that needed to be said, but we said it. So, something to think about. That has been a message that actually has been rolling around in my space for the last couple days, and I have a feeling we'll see, because I'm doing better at not planning, but I have a feeling that it's going to come up again tomorrow when we're talking about hip hop. All right. Hey, I don't want I don't like stray marks. There we go. So let's not start with red. Start with a better color. And we're looking at shift. Oh man. I was just talking about cousin and I almost wrote the cuss word up there. Almost forgot the F. Lord help me. Here we go. Oh, yes. You all are the best. I love you all so much. All right. So for shift with the F. We're saying shift, YouTube. We're saying shift. This is going to be 19 plus 8 plus 9 plus 6 plus 20. Now, one of the first things before we add this up, and this actually gives you time to add it up yourself if you would like to try. Stop it. Come on now. I'm trying to do good. One of the things I've noticed this week is we have a lot of these nines coming up. of course, which we've already talked about, being in September and how all of this nine energy is just creating all of this chaos. It's the nine energy that is creating the endings and the shift. So the shifts that we're feeling, it is this nine energy, where nine is usually ending. But for some reason, I think it's the vibration of nine in combination with everything that we have happening in groups and interpersonally, but also the astrology. It's making this nine more be about shifting energy. It's like preparing energy to shift into a new space instead of just ending. And one of the numbers that keeps coming up a lot is this 19. So there's been a lot of words, a lot of phrases. It seems like a lot of words keep adding the S on the end or making it possessive where the S is added, or it's a lot of these S words that are really vibrating very strong right now. And it is because this 19 really is the representation. It's the vibrational representation of the shift that we are feeling, because it's ending something and immediately going into something new. So this is the shift. The other thing, we always got to look at the creepy stuff. The word mirror, and I've been saying, like, mirror has been coming up, and mirror image and all of this mirror stuff. And we just had the whole mirror message. Mirror is 91. So 19 is the mirror image of the vibration of this word mirror. So we have all of these vibrations of 19 and 91 that really are the shifting. It really is what we're feeling is the shifting. And so that's probably why this word shift has been resonating so much stronger. But let's go ahead and add this up. You can put in the chat if you've got it. Let's add this up. Add it up. 19, 8 plus 9 plus 6 plus 20. Oh yeah, baby love. I know you've been getting hit with that 9 energy. Something different this week. You and me both. Oh man. Especially like early in the week. Anybody heard our little stories, man? They wouldn't believe us. But this adds up to I don't want to use 62. So 62, and then when we add that up, we get to this 8. And so what this vibration is telling us, what this message is telling us, and I think we've talked about this also. Oh, we just talked about it a little bit with Nikki's first name, that this 2 is really coming from 11. So people talk about 11 and it's like, oh, 11 and 11, 11, and 11 is so great. It's so wonderful. It's the first master number. It's so powerful. Blah, 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 blah. That was me not cussing again. Aren't you proud of me? I am. But what seems to be happening is the 11 is really becoming the representation of dualism, of the polarization. I see 11 this vibration of 11 keeps popping up when it's these two stark sides that are facing off. But the only way that we can get to the 2 Oh, thank you, baby love. Do all of that for me. I appreciate it. The only way we can get to the 2 from the 11 is for these extremes to come together in some way. And there's only really 2 ways for an 11 to make a 2. It's either through figuring out what are the good and bad parts of both of these extremes and bringing them together to create something new, or it's having them battle it out and pretty much they destroy each other to create something new. Um this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing highly right now. And for those of you that come and hang out with me, which I think is both of you, on Saturdays when we talk about hip hop, where hip hop is also has that too also in 72. Yes. Yes. No, that you're absolutely 100% right. None of it's by accident, none of it is by mistake. None of it is coming up for no reason. It's all synchronistic. And yes, Kendrick Lamar's song Mirror, I've had, I think, at least four different songs, including Kendrick Lamar's Mirror, come up in my timeline this week. That's part of what is like happening with this mirror. And I really think that that's probably going to be a very strong, heavy topic for hip hop tomorrow. But this is what we're seeing. So when we see this 11, what it really is, it's a face off in the mirror. So if this is the mirror, we have these two parts, these two places that are on either side of this line. And they think that they are the extremes. They think that they are the furthest away from each other that they possibly could be. But in actuality, they are the mirror image of each other. They are the same thing. And either they have to battle to see which identity will rule them all, and then they discover that they destroy themselves and a new self emerges, or they realize that they are the same. They're just mere images of each other, and they can actually come together. So this 11 to 2 is like, this has been actually coming up and like driving me nuts. The 11s, so the numbers that add up to 11, have been driving me insane since, June 2020. June 2020 is when they have like, I think that's the bigger message that is going on right now in this big huge shift, like of it's because it's everything and it's all across the world that we're seeing this. So to have shift add up to 62, where the first step in making this shift, and it doesn't even matter if it's a shift in ourself, if it's a shift within like our family dynamics or with a partner or in a group or a country or a culture or whatever. The first step is to figure out how to get rid of this polarization, get rid of these two extremes, and bring them together to create something new. That's the first step of this shift. Is to be able to do that. And that can seem very big and daunting, but I think We always have, with all of the, every vibration that hits us, we always have to start with ourselves first. So we have to first accept what are the extremes that we have within us, and how can we bring them together, because we don't want them to fight. So how can we bring them together to really step into a bigger, more authentic us? And then when we're able to do that, now we can get to this second stage, which is being able to create a comfortable place. Usually, when I see the 6 in the second or third spot, going from right to left, it's more about creating the comfortable space. So it's creating comfort. So it's like creating something new out of the extremes of dualism, getting rid of this polarization, so that something, this something new can now have a place of comfort. So then we can create a place of comfort. But if you try and create this place of comfort first, then it's just going to get destroyed as these two extremes are fighting. So the image that is coming to my mind, we'll come back to that in just a second. And let me know if this is like not making any sense at all, or if you have questions, or something to add, please add. But what is coming to mind, and this is a video that I've had in the queue to make, and this might be the signal that it's time to, but I've talked about before where we have these 4 parts of I am. So when we think about who we are in our identity, we have the I am God. So it's the part of you and the part of your identity that's like attached to this higher expression of yourself. Whether that's God for you, whether that's universe, whether that's like your most healed self. It's whatever that higher power, that highest form of yourself, that highest vibrational form of yourself is I am God. Kind of the opposite of that, and this is coming up because we're thinking about these extremes, is the I am all. So it's this part of your identity that is attached to others that are around you, and to the greater collective, and to what you contribute to them and what they contribute to you. So we could potentially have these two within ourselves that are feeling like extremes, that are feeling like they're polarized against each other, that are higher, trying to get to our highest self without being egotistical or selfish, because we also have to be in tune and authentic to this part of ourselves that is I am all. And so then how do we not, because the 11 also is balance, and balance always is not always the right thing. So is there a way to, instead of balancing between these as like a give and take, to actually bring them together to make a stronger I am? On these other two sides, we have oh, thank you. Hi, Cousin Bee's live. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for being here. We have the I am, which is, this is who I see myself as. And on the opposite of that is I am not, which is like, I'm not this. I'm not, this is not me. But it is still part of you. Like the to be your most authentic self is to recognize who you are, the I am, and also the I am not. And so these two can also have this polarization between them. And so that's what I think about, like when I think about like our internal shift, like the shift that we have to make internally before we can turn it outward, is we have to figure out how to not balance between these four, but actually bring them together. So this is like an 11-11. And instead we want to bring it together to be a 22. I'm so glad you all are having a good old time over there. Make sure you save some room on the dance floor. I'll be over there if you all are still on. You guys be going so hard sometimes. I never know if you're going to be on when I'm able to come over. So, this is what was coming up in thinking about this shift. So, first step is to, oh my gosh, running out of colors. Like, that's unusual. So, yes, Susie is the dancing queen, and I love it. It makes me want to dance more and more and more. So, our first step is figuring out how to get rid of this polarization and actually bring it together. So, this shift is telling us first, we should be using this 9 energy and shifting it over. Oh, thank you, Susie. That's actually a fairly huge compliment. We'll have to get you back over there and I'll go with you. So the first thing is to recognize that all of this 9 energy that is coming in and that is kind of bombarding our space right now, especially, is so that we have the energy we need to make this shift. Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Josh. It is like the Punnett square. That's exactly it. It's the Punnett square of our identity. Mm-hmm. That's a great way of thinking about it. Yes. And so we want to recognize that as crazy and chaotic as it is, this 9 energy coming in, we're really supposed to be using it and gathering it up to be able to make this shift. Because right now, September is 9. So we've got September is all this 9 energy and it's super powerful. But October is 10. So not only is it this one where we can shift all this energy into something new, but the universe, God, is here to help us do it. And I just realized that our wheel is covering that up. There you go. So I really think that September is a time for overall for everybody. Like, we can do some things here and there to use the energy because we have to. You can't ever just 100% be the observer. But I really think that September really is a time to be an observer, to document what's happening because we are in historical times. And so we need to represent that history from our perspective or it'll get lost. So we need to be the observer and we need to be documenting. And we need to be preparing to shift what we are experiencing at this time into October. And what this word shift is helping us to also see, because 62 actually goes to 8. So in August, just last month, when we had all this 8 energy, remember 8 energy is that reap what you sow energy. This is that where the energy was coming back. So we had all of this energy coming back in August. And now we're in September where things are ending and preparing to shift. And then we'll have October. Yes. Yes. Every day in October is spooky. And I love that line. And I think I've started putting together some of my predictions for October. And I think that one's in there for October for hip hop. Yeah, we got some interesting things happening in October too. But again, I think this was a really good word choice, Josh. Um, because this is what we are experiencing. And if we can at least have a little bit of understanding, we don't even need a lot, but at least a little bit of understanding of what the vibrations are that are coming in and what's happening, then we're better able to be more intentional in how we're using that energy and more aware of why things are happening the way that they are, whether we like them or not, and what's coming next. So this is a really weird example. I don't know why this example came to my head, but we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. The universe said this is the example, so this is the example. So, when I was giving birth to both of my children, I am a Capricorn sun. So I am very much in my head. And so when I was pregnant and about to give birth to both of my daughters, one at a time, at least. Whew, thank goodness no twins here. But both times, what helped me get through the labor was knowing in my head. So I read all these books beforehand. So I knew what the steps were ahead of time. So then I could be like, all right, this really sucks, but I know I just have to get to this point, and then I move on to the next point. And then I move on to the next point until I finally have the baby. That's kind of what we're doing. We are the whole world and the earth herself. Because that's another thing that, like, the earth is having a lot of stuff happen. There's a lot of volcanic activity. There's a lot of earthquake activity. The weather's all funky and weird. So it's not even just us that are on the earth, but it's the earth themselves. We're all like going through these labor pains of this shift. So hopefully just having some inclination of what's happening can help it and help it be better. Oh, thank you, Josh. You know what? It's so weird because I questioned why I was being led to come to YouTube, and I know I've said this before, but it's the last month or so has been really amazing to see that, like, oh no, this information needs to be out there. Even if people don't find it until after we go through this, if it can help bring some kind of explanation and comfort of like what has been happening, then that's great. Thank you for saying that, Josh. I appreciate that. Because I still, even with all these amazing moments and going through all of this interesting stuff with you all, I still question a lot of times, like, why am I out here? Why am I doing this? Not because it's bad, but just because it has not been me. This is not like my personality. I am the quintessential hermit. So this is very different for me, but I am loving it. I am greatly enjoying it. And I hope that you all are enjoying it also, and that we all are learning so much, because I know I'm learning a lot. Yes. Yes. Yes, baby love. Yes. Yes. No, I think you're right on, because that's what I'm seeing in the vibrations. No, I think you're exactly right. Where it is, and I think that's why nine doesn't feel like a stark ending. It feels like more of a shifting. Like it's instead of just ending everything, it's like we're shifting into whatever this new kind of beginning is, and that as we step into that new, that's going to feel more like completion. Yeah, I think you're right on. And in gosh, it's only going to be in like a week or so that we'll start talking about October vibrations. I'll bring the calendar and I'll have all of those worked out and we can start looking at them. But also, that reminds me that this weekend on the 14th, let me know if you want me to come back to this. I want to go back over here. Um, oh, we can't see it very well, but oh yeah, we could see it. So, on the 14th, which is Sunday, is when we'll have a last quarter moon, where it'll be like this. Well, it's gonna be the last quarter moon, which last quarter moon, which ends one of those 2.5 year cycles that we have. So there'll be big, huge endings actually starting this weekend. And let me look at this phone real quick and I can tell you the dates. Where am I looking? So so the new moon where we planted all the seeds, and I think I had this, yeah, I did. I had this in that September vibrations for hip hop, so we can talk about it again tomorrow also. But this last quarter moon is vibrations that started June 18th, 2023. So we are completing, things are being completed this weekend. So this weekend we'll be completing things that we started in June 2023. So it's the 9 energy, it's that 9 going to 10, and it's like this last quarter moon, which is probably making you feel that even more, especially right now. Yeah, we just got to get through September, and that's why I think that September really is more meant for us to as much as possible, observe and document. We've already seen historical things happening at the end of August into early September. There are going to be a lot of historical things that are happening in this month. And we're not going to see them all. So um it's really important that everybody is documenting them. So we need people in France documenting what's happening there. We need people in Nepal documenting what's happening there. We need people here, like in the States, documenting what's happening here. We need people, that are overseas in Poland documenting what's happening there. We need to make sure that everybody is documenting from their perspective because there's so many historical things that are happening. We need to make sure we capture it. And I like, even baby love, that you use the word observation, because we're in a time of, we need to be the watcher. Anybody that loves Marvel as much as I do, we need to be the watcher. We need to watch and we need to document as much as possible. It's not going to be possible to just watch, and there's never a time when we can just be complacent. But I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's why a lot of this September energy is knocking us on our ass. It's because we need to just be watching. We need to only interact when it's absolutely necessary, and the rest of the time make sure that we are observing and documenting. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. I've talked so long. I think I say that every single time. Like, whoa, I didn't know I could talk that long. Do you have any other words, any other numbers, anything else you want to add to the conversation we want to talk about before I hop off of here and go dance? I'm always amazed at how much we talk about. Like, we be diving really deep. Oh, you're right. I do remember that song, Josh. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. Yes. Yeah, I do remember that. And there are some other songs too that have similar lines in it. Well, and if you even just look at our calendar, um that we kind of have this 9 cycle that happens. There's a lot that happens in September just usually. But this is a very high vibrational year, especially for 9. So we getting hit even more than usual. Hey, let me know if there's anything else. I think for we'll see what comes out tomorrow. It of course it'll be hip hop related. Um I've gotten a few things about reflections and mirrors. But that's more general than to hip hop. But it seems like hip hop, like this week, has really been in tune with a lot of what was happening outside of hip hop, which doesn't always happen. So the mirror discussion may also be very relevant in space too. So we'll see. But also make sure to just bring whatever you have. Oh, as you can see, my pictures decided to work again. And so you can send me like any of your sky pictures if we want to look for our ET friends sometime on one of these Friday lives. I don't know when it's going to be like calm enough for us to actually have that kind of fun, but who knows? Maybe we'll be able to. Okay, cool. I'll wait a little bit longer for the lag to make sure there's not any other questions and stuff. But I think that feels pretty good. We did a lot today. Yes. Make sure to call them ETs, not a cat. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's it for today. It was another good conversation. Thank you all for being here. This is wonderful. Love it. Thank you, baby love. Oh, I'm sure she is having a nightmare right now, Josh. Very much so. As did I, actually. I actually hated that movie. Like, had a phobia of that movie. Like, couldn't even look at the pictures. It was bad. We could talk about that when we talk about ET. But have a good night, everybody. I'm sure I will see most of you um, about later tonight, or also hopefully you come back tomorrow and we'll talk hip hop vibrations. On your way out, please make sure to hit the like button and put a comment. If you have other questions about anything we talked about today, you can always put them in a comment. Thank you, Susie. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being here. This is just turning into such a lovely experience. I'm greatly enjoying it. So have a good night, everybody. I'm sure I will see you and dance with you. And then we'll be back here tomorrow. Again, I can't tell you what time. I'm going to try and go every week. I say I'm going to go earlier. But it just happens when it happens. But it will be earlier than today. So I will see you tomorrow for hip hop vibrations. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Bye. Okay, I'm going to wait for your one more thing to say, Susie. You just caught me. Oh my goodness. This is a lot to say. I love it though. I'm gonna move this though. Looking at all this writing is making my head spin. Yes, baby love. I love it. I love that you all have so much to say. It adds so much richness to the conversation. This would be a completely different kind of conversation and discussion if you all didn't contribute as much as you do. It's wonderful. I love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Susie. That is very much worth waiting for. That is like the perfect goodbye. Thank you, Susie. That okay, now you gonna make me cry again. So now I really gotta go. so, so I could cry alone while I dance on the Twitch dance floor. Thank you, Susie. That actually means a lot to me. Because it's really hard to get out here and put myself out here, knowing that there's a lot of people that don't necessarily believe. But yeah, mm, thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, okay. I'm gonna come dance. I'm gonna come dance in Twitch while I cry and virtually hug you all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all very much for being here. And I will see you tomorrow. We got some hip hop to talk about. Have a good night, everybody. I'm sure I'll see most of you over in Twitch. Let's go dance, Susie. Bye.